My review for this chapter will be out soon. I just wanted to do this first, get it out of the way. I will also have closed caption on this soon to do the subtitles. I don't have time to do them right this second, but for now, sit back and enjoy. So we find out this chapter that Big Mom can make inanimate objects come to life. Now, it was pretty obvious before that this was her power, but this chapter made it a lot more apparent. And there have been some popular ideas on the subject, such as the witch fruit and the life fruit. Now, these ideas are all pretty good, but I have sort of a answer that links all the different possibilities together. Now, some of the powers she has, or seems to have, are the ability to make stuff come to life. She can control and alter the weather and climate, such as in the case of creating cotton candy snow, as we saw a few chapters ago. And she possibly eats people. We didn't really see in the scene that we first saw her what she did, but it does seem like she ate her own crew. Sort of like the witch in Hansel and Gretel, which is a key argument to the witch fruit theory, but I'll get to that later. So I've had this theory for a while now, and this chapter sort of confirmed it for the most part for me. Not 100% confirmed, of course, but it does seem a lot more likely now. So I believe Big Mom has the Mother Nature fruit, and there are a lot of points that back up this idea. So looking at our Jolly Roger, we can see in the top left, there seems to be somewhat of a sun. And the bottom left, we can see what looks to look like water, waves or something. And the right, we see a tree and sort of looks like wind underneath. And I think that this has to do with elements. And more importantly, the elements of life. So Mother Nature is described as nourishing, it brings life, and it also controls the weather and everything that supports life. And we can see in our Jolly Roger, even if I'm wrong on the specific symbols, it does seem to have somewhat of a natural feel to it, based on nature. Like the tree with the fruits and the sun and the water, everything that brings life. And two of the things that we know Big Mom can do that supports this idea is that she can give life to inanimate objects that call her mom. She can control the weather by making it rain or snow cotton candy. And basically she just makes everything out of candy and brings food to everybody that anyone can eat, which supports the idea that she nourishes people. And we know she's made her land accessible to all the different races, and she supplies food and everything else that nourishes them, once again. And we obviously know that everybody calls her mom, everybody calls her Big Mom, so the whole Mother Nature idea does sort of stick. So you may ask what this has to do with the candy and how she creates the candy, and I don't think the creation of the candy has anything to do with her power, because she does buy it from different places, like Fishman Island for example, and when she didn't get that constant supply of candy, she got extremely mad. So it does seem like if she can create it, then she wouldn't need all these other places to supply her with it. But it does seem evident that she can at least modify candy, such as in the case of the cotton candy snow. But I will once again emphasize that candy is her way of giving life to people, and this is Oda's way of sort of saying that this is her way of nourishing people. The candy itself doesn't necessarily have to explain the powers, it's more of just a character trait. So with all that said, it does feel like there is a very clear indication that her powers have something to do with nature, more specifically Mother Nature, because of the whole Big Mom thing. And the reason I'm saying Mother Nature is because Mother Nature is in many different cultures described as its own entity, its own being, and the idea is actually traced back to Greek mythology with the goddess Gaia. And I will supply you with a link if you want to read up on it in the description. But I don't think that this power is just straight up nature. I don't think it's that straightforward. I do think there are some technicalities to it and how it works. And one person who might possibly explain her ability is Moria. Now we know that devil fruits exist that can be very, very similar to another fruit, but are just more advanced versions, such as the Kilo fruit and the Tun, which are basically the same thing, but one stronger than the other. So we do know that Moria is able to absorb shadows and give it to dead bodies to make them come alive. So I say that Big Mom can maybe take life itself from people and give it to inanimate objects, and not necessarily just dead bodies, because we did see that doors, the ship, everything was sort of speaking and singing and coming alive. Much like Moria, it could be conditional, and it may require her to actually absorb spirits and souls. And we do know that devil fruits can do this because we've seen Law do stuff like swap souls with people, which is why Sanji could use Haki in Nami's body. We know Brooke can leave his body with his soul and potentially possess people, we don't really know. Perona can also kind of leave her body. So it is possible for devil fruits to actually modify or change souls or spirits of people. So if Big Mom can absorb the life in people, their spirits, it would be incredibly powerful and could be one of the ways she actually brings inanimate objects to life by transferring their souls. Or maybe she can add to her own power, her own haki, and make her body stronger through absorbing the life energy within people. And we have seen her do this before, such as the first introduction we saw of her when she was eating her own crew. It wouldn't make much sense for her to eat her own crew unless maybe she can absorb their powers. And we know Wapol was capable of this, so it's very possible that her fruit can do something similar. Now, when Rayleigh described haki, he said it's something that exists in all living things, and he described it as having to do with the spirit, such as when he called armament spirit armor. So if she can absorb the life out of things, it's also possible that she can absorb the haki out of people and maybe make her own haki stronger. So instead of like Wapol's fruit, which is a physical transformation, it would be more of like a spiritual alteration. So the absorption and distribution of life and energy does seem like it's a very possible ability of hers. But how can this make her strong? How can it make her Yonko level? Now, on top of it making her stronger, I do think that her fruit gives her different elemental abilities like we saw in her pirate flag. And this could tie into the whole witch theme, because there's been a lot of theories on Big Mom having somewhat of a witch fruit, comparing her to the witch in Hansel and Gretel who literally eats kids. Much like Nami, who is also considered a witch, Nami does not have witch powers. She does not have any sort of magic, but she instead uses scientific methods and weather to actually perform spell-like abilities. So maybe Big Mom's theme is a witch, but her actual abilities are a little bit more straightforward and science-based. For example, it's possible that she can control natural energy and maybe create fire, control plants, and even the weather, as she's already shown to do with the cotton candy snow. And whatever sort of ability she can pull off with nature, she can name them after spells, giving her somewhat of a witch theme. And I would argue that much like Kaido, she's trying to create an army of soldiers that are invincible. If she can bring life to inanimate objects, that would mean that they're even stronger than Moria's zombies and that they cannot be killed unless they're torn apart or destroyed completely. And we've seen many soldiers that almost seem robotic, so it is possible that she can control her soldiers, or maybe these are soldiers that aren't real people and that they're actually inanimate objects, puppets, that are given life by her ability. So I do think that this theory really well explains how she can bring life to things, how she can control the environment, make stuff into candy, or make candy actual parts of the environment. We still don't have a ton of information, but I do hope you enjoy my explanation. And tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all later.